You wanted to stay in your house, right?
I did want to stay in the house. It was also because my daughter needed to be in the same school district. To me, it didn't make sense to sell the house and then buy a house in the same school district, probably at even more.
Borrowing from a retirement plan, as Rowan Childs did, should be a last resort, because if you lose your job, the loan must be repaid in full, or you may have to fork over taxes and penalties.
Yes, this is for a 401k loan, and because it's through a payroll deduction. Also keep in mind that you cannot do this with an IRA. So if you've rolled over funds from an IRA, don't go to your financial advisor and ask them, hey, I have an IRA, I have a retirement account. Can I take a loan off of it? Because you can't do that. This is strictly for the 401k. So just keep that in mind.
And if you're in your 40s, paying for a child's college should take a back seat to protecting your own savings. It may be.
Sorry, I keep pausing it. They're actually making some great points. The reason they made that comment is because whoever's doing their research is actually doing a great job. What we're finding out is that many adults are tapping into their retirement account to help pay for younger adults' expenses. And basically what she's warning against is that, hey, your priority should be to protect your retirement, not necessarily get their life started. Now, there's a difference between what's rational and what's emotional, and that's the balance that we have to face here as a financial advisor. I can be the objective view for you and say, by the numbers, this makes sense. By the end of the day, this is your money, and you're going to have to make the decision that works best for you and works best for your family and for you emotionally. So you can tell a client, Mr. Client, this is going to financially destroy you if you give your daughter, $10,000, $15,000 loan. And they're going to go, that's my daughter, I'm going to do anything for her. And that's fine. I'm not going to stop you, but I do have to let you know you're going to have to suffer in the end because of this. And okay, I'm okay. Long as we are on the same page, I am okay, right? You're going to have to make the decision for yourself. But many adults are doing this because, somebody has said this before. If you don't raise your kids, you're going to have to raise your grandkids. But if you raise your kids, you won't have to raise your grandkids. And I like that idea, is because some of us have not put the time in to teach our kids how to survive on their own. That's why we coddle them until they're 21, 23, 25, 27, 30. They're always going to have a home here. They can always come home. Yes, they can always come home. Life happens. Maybe they lose their job, but if they never leave the nest, that's a problem. I remember when I was 8 years old, I was outside with my dad and I saw a little bird on the ground and it's like dead. And I was like, oh, what is this? And he's like, it's a bird. It's a baby bird. And I was like, what happened? I look up and the mom's laughing and giggling and the kids are, the other birds are laughing and giggling. And I said, well, what happened? He said, well, when you're a bird, it's like, if you're weak, they kick you out the nest or it's fly or die. So what happens, the mom pushes it out and it didn't fly. So it ended up dying. And that's how it is. It's fly or die. And I said, adults are not like that. Humans are not like that. We typically don't have the fly or die mentality. But what we do have is this, hey, I'm raising you to be an adult. You need to go and be an adult. But in this generation, we're starting to coddle our kids and not teach them how to be adults. We just want to give them everything that we didn't have. Oh, I couldn't stay up late, so they could stay up late. Oh, I didn't have electronics, now they can have electronics, because we're in this abundance, right? When people are coming out the Great Depression and having to tighten up their belts, and boundaries was real. I talked about that earlier in the live. Boundaries were real. Hey, we can't do this. Okay, we can't afford this. No, we're not going on vacation 10 times. No, we can't have your favorite doll. No, we can't get this for Christmas. No, you need to pick one thing. You're not getting 3 things. Now that you have resources, you have $1 million in your 401k or whatever it may be. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, you can have that. Yeah, sure. Yes. The boundaries are gone. And what happens is we're building kids that are entitled and said, well, this is life, right? Because those boundaries are being eliminated. So when they become an adult and there's real boundaries like mortgages and cars, they don't know how to handle it. So what do we have to do? We have to reach for our retirement and then fund the lifestyle they should be creating for themselves. Now, I'm not telling you how to parent. Every parent's going to be different. I think this new generation is about gentle parenting or whatever it may be. That's your own style. I'm not here to judge you on how you raise your children, but I am telling you there's a ripple effect to coddling your kids and not protecting your retirement. And that's why she said that, because statistics are showing people are foregoing their retirement to give to their children. But if you never teach them money management skills, they're going to go through the money anyway. And when you're old and need the money because the healthcare costs are going up, like we talked about, you're going to be in a tough situation. You're, oh man, I shouldn't have gave my kids. No, I helped my kids, and I was so sacrificial. Ma'am, sir, you only had $200,000 in your account anyway. You gave them 50 to 100,000 or whatever you gave them. You weren't ready for retirement anyway because you didn't plan. Don't put it on the kids now. They made it worse, but they're not the reason you don't have enough in your retirement. So if you have enough and you want to give, I mean, so be it. But protect yourself, have enough, and that's why that one comment is so important. So yes, it was one sentence for 5 seconds, but it was jam packed with reality of why there was such an urgency for her to say, protect your retirement first before you start thinking about college tuition, thinking about getting them their first home or wedding gifts or things of that nature, because, we are sacrificing our own self for other people, which is great, especially for your children. But you know what they say, put your mask on first for the other person, which has been worn out. I actually kind of hate that idea, but I can't think of another one. But if you're not in the good shape, then nobody else is going to be. They're only going to get a partial person. They're only going to get part of you. And the sad part about it is when you really need it, are those same people going to come by and give you all the money that you need for your health? And we're seeing time and time again, they are not. These families are, these kids are not coming back to help their family. They're just trying to put insurance policies on them and see what happens.
Be tough love, but otherwise you might end up relying on your children later on.
Jokingly, I told my kids I could move in with them.
Yeah, how do they feel about that?
My son was like, well, maybe you could live close by.
The key in your 40s.
Told you, man. Listen, we're watching live. I told you, these kids don't care. No, she took out $100,000, for whatever she did, right? Maybe you can live next door. No, I don't want you to live with me. Oh, wait, hold on. You're in my house. I'm helping you with college. I'm letting you live with me. But if I'm sick, then no. Oh, okay. Listen, like I said, these kids, and I'm not saying it's just these kids, but it's not their fault. That's human behavior. People are naturally selfish. And what happens is we want our kids' love so much, we're willing to pay for that. And it's like, no, I'm not doing that. No. I'm not risking my retirement for somebody who don't even want me to live with them. No.
Take deep breaths regardless of the challenges.
Relax. Planning for retirement is best for the daylight hours, not in the middle of the night.
Amen.
And when you wake up, take some action steps. Worrying is not action.
With plenty of time to get back on her feet, Child says she has finally stopped worrying. You're willing to say everything's on the table.
Yeah.
Maybe working longer could be on the table. Working part-time is on the table.
Yeah. I don't necessarily know exactly how I'm going to get there, but if I see something or that's what I want, I often will find a way.
When on that journey to financial freedom, sometimes thinking outside the box is the best way to get there. For Eye in America.
Yeah, it's sad. It's crazy out here. It's the wild, wild west out here when you're talking about planning for retirement. And she's in her 40s and she's young. She may get remarried. Like I said, her kids are look like they're a little bit on the older side, so that could be a blessing. But if she doesn't make any changes, it's going to be pretty hard. I love the advice of the older lady who was basically saying, don't do it at night. Because there's nothing you really can do when you're in bed at night. During the daytime, you can do some research. You can talk to somebody. Maybe you can call out. You can schedule a consultation. Wink, wink. But not at night. Worrying is, once again, is not an action plan. And many people do. They just worry about it. And when they come in, it's like, well, I've been thinking about it. Like, thinking doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything except for waste time. Now, thinking does help you become aware of what you need to do. But other than that, it doesn't do anything. Like, once you're aware of it and you know what you need to do, now it's time to start laying out the plan, to start taking some actionable steps. And I love the word actionable steps because there's some things that are mental that you need to resolve emotionally in yourself, but there's some actionable steps that you can take in the real world to actually manifest those thoughts that are coming out. And that's the problem. The disconnect between manifestation and actually action are basically taking your thoughts and making them happen. That's one of my favorite sayings is like, man, let's just make it happen. Take whatever's out in your brain and let's create something in real life. What are the steps that we need to do to get what's in your head out on paper, into the real world and start seeing it as the creators that we are. I think God created us as creators. So what's in our thoughts become creation, let's do that, whatever that may entail.